Aha. Excellent. Okay. So, since we have one person here already, let's go ahead and get started. So, we're just going to jump straight into doing a 15-minute session of body scanning in a seated position. So, we're just going to do a full 15 minutes. Then we'll take a short break. And then we'll do another 10 minutes, I think. Or maybe we'll do 10 minutes and then 15 minutes. Yeah, that might be better. And we can ask a few questions in between if they come up. You can put them in the chat here on YouTube or put them in the chat, the private chat on Facebook, either way. Okay, all right, here we go. So first, just take a moment. Let's do a few rounds of breath first. So breathe in. Find out which nostril is more intense sensation. And just count a couple of breaths. Just get your mind in that mode of intense focus. All right, now we'll begin with the feet. Left foot, start with your toes. The pad of the foot and top of the foot. And the arch. The heel. Ankle. Lower calf. Upper calf. Knee. Lower thigh. Upper thigh. Hip. Front of the hip. Back of the hip. Now, right foot. Toes. The pad and the top of the foot and the arch. Heel. Ankle. Lower calf. Upper calf. The knee. Lower thigh. Upper thigh. The hip joint. Front of the hip. And back of the hips. Now try to get your mind into the anus, the sexual organs, and into the waist channel, the belt of the waist. Into the diaphragm belt. And into the upper chest belt, all the way around. top of the left shoulder, front of the left shoulder, back of the left shoulder, side of the left shoulder, and bottom of the left shoulder, bicep, elbow, upper forearm, lower forearm, wrist, palm and top of the hand, thumb, pointer, middle, ring, pinky, top of the right shoulder, front, back, side, underneath, bicep, elbow, lower forearm, upper forearm, lower forearm, wrist, palm and back of the hand, thumb, pointer, middle, ring, pinky. Move to the bottom third of the neck all the way around. The middle third of the neck all the way around. The upper third of the neck. And the joint connecting the neck to the skull. Back of the scalp. Top of the scalp. Sides of the scalp on the left. Side of the scalp on the right. Left ear. Right ear. Forehead and eyebrows. Left eye. Right eye. Outside of the nose. Inside the nose. Left cheek on the outside. Right cheek on the outside. Chin. Lips. Inside of the left cheek. Inside of the right cheek. Roof of the mouth. And try to get into each of your teeth if you can. Now your tongue. Below your tongue. And your throat. And now we'll take a short break. So feel free to ask any questions, and we'll do our next session in about 4 minutes. Okay. If there are no questions, oh, here we go. Good question. Good question. Okay, so there are multiple ways to do body scanning, lots of different ways. And there are lots of different purposes for which you can do body scanning. Yeah. So if you're doing body scanning for internal martial arts, it's really important that you get into all of the detailed layers that you can, because that has an effect on what you can do for internal martial arts, right? If you're doing body scanning to try to get the mind to calm down to train in concentration, the depth to which you can get into the tissues is not as critical. What's more important is that you scan the whole body, you calm down the whole nervous system, because what are we doing? We're trying to get the nervous system calm enough to allow us to break through into the third level of concentration, the fourth level of concentration, according to the 9 stages of calm abiding, right? So the depth to which you can get into the tissues is less critical if that's your aim, right? If your aim is to train in concentration at this level. If you want to increase the resolution, let's say, right now maybe certain parts of the body are kind of blurry. If you want to increase the resolution so you can see those more clearly, then another technique is you just rest the mind on certain parts of the body and you hold it there, much like how you rested it here. You would rest it, and I know this is not all news to you, Alexandros, but you would rest your mind in an area that's sort of dark that you can't see into, or blurry where you can see in there but you're not getting much detail on what's happening. You can just rest the mind there and move it around gently in an area, observing with a great deal of intensity and just seeing what's in there. And then later, of course, when you go back and you're doing systematic body scanning, when you reach that area, you'll be able to see more. You'll be able to observe more because you have spent time in there. And then you can carry on. So yeah, for the purposes of this exercise, you don't have to get to a great depth. You don't have to get to a great depth. If we were going to do this, and we will today, we'll do probably 2 or 3 25-minute sessions, or maybe even 30-minute sessions, where we'll go slower and we'll go in more detail through the body and up the body. You'll find that when we go slower, naturally you'll see more detail. But the danger there is, what are we trying to overcome on the first 4 stages? I wish I could get you on microphone and then you could be like, haha, here's what it is. But what we're trying to overcome, of course, is excitement, right? We're trying to overcome the mind's tendency to jump off the object. The object here is a focusing. So it's not quite right that I got extremely relaxed. No, it is. You do want to be extremely relaxed. So this is the really fascinating thing about training in meditation. The first 4 stages are about the mind becoming increasingly focused. And once it's actually focused, then there's a degree of relaxation that's kind of natural to that. But the mind has a tendency, because of that relaxation, to sink and become dull and hazy. And if you sit in that state for a long period of time, by the way, this is part of the reason we're doing short sessions. If you sit in that state for a long period of time, then you get stupider and less discerning, and your mind is not as sharp. Okay? So it is correct that you start with that intense effort, like Babonko Rinpoche said, on the first two stages, and then you have interrupted conveying, where the I don't know if future people will be able to see the chat, but Alexandra says he's not sure he could get any more stupid. Trust me, we could all get more stupid. So if you sit around in a state of mind that is dull on purpose, where you are cultivating dullness by accident, right? By accident on purpose, your mind will get less discerning. You'll be trying to listen to somebody, and your mind won't be able to follow them. You'll be trying to connect the dots on things, and you'll lose your discernment to notice the fine details of things, because you practiced a state of mind that's similar to that. A mind that can focus but can't bring cognitive freshness to the activity. Right? So absolutely critical point. Absolutely critical. So it is correct that you'll be more relaxed, but one of the benefits of doing a body scanning meditation like this is it tends to keep the mind more fresh, because there's an analytical element to it. So we are doing battle with that laxity aspect as well. If you refer back to the 9 stages, laxity is the second big problem that you face. So if we were, and we'll probably do at least one session like this, just so that we've covered the whole spectrum of stuff you can do with body scanning. If we were trying to get deep into the tissues, just an observation, toes are strangely harder to discern individually. Yeah, no, it's not just you. Like for me, for example, it's pretty easy to get the big toe, the little toe, and this toe, but these two, for some reason, my brain say are one toe. And even when I'm like, I'll start here and I'll follow it up, both of them become one toe, no matter which way I go. And my brain's like, no, that's just one toe there. It's unintentionally hilarious. So yeah, again, you'll find all of these, and some things you share in common with other people, some things you don't. All these weird things where you can't get your mind into certain parts of your body. Something that's very common, of course, is that you can't get into the inner tissues of the body very easily. But that comes from spending a lot of time resting the mind on certain parts of the body. All right, since I wanted to get one 15-minute session, I hope everyone is okay with this. We will start now, and we'll do... Oh, I did answer the question, yes? And questions? Is everyone satisfied? I don't want to move on if everyone isn't satisfied. Good? Okay. Good. Okay. So hopefully everyone's okay to go about 5 minutes over. And we'll do a 15-minute session. I'm going to go a little bit slower with the scan, and we're going to go into a little bit more detail with the scan as we go through. And we will hopefully all be in one piece when we get done. Not a bunch of little chunks. Okay, so set your posture. Starting with the left foot, big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, pinky toe, the pad of the foot, top of the foot, arch of the foot on the bottom, heel of the foot, ankle, now start working your way up your calf in rings. So a ring around the entire calf that's about 2 inches thick, or 1.5 inches. We're going to divide it into about 10 pieces, okay? So do the first piece, second piece, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now the knee, try to get your mind into the joint. Divide the thigh into about 10 pieces. First section of the thigh, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then put your mind into the hip joint, into the joint itself. Okay, now to the other side, should be your right big toe. And the second toe. Third toe. Fourth toe. Fifth toe. The pad of the foot on the bottom. Top of the foot. Arch. Heel. Ankle. Try to get your mind into the ankle joint. Divide the calf into about 10 pieces. First piece, working your way up from the ankle, first piece. Second. Third. Fourth. Fifth. Sixth. 7, 8, 9, and 10 should bring you just into the knee joint. Now place your mind inside the knee joint as best you can. Now divide the thigh into 10 pieces. First piece. Second piece. 3, 4, 5. Should be about halfway now. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 should bring you right to the hip crease. Now place your mind inside the hip joint on the right-hand side as best you can. Okay, now front of the hips on the right-hand side only. Front of the hips on the left-hand side only. Back of the hips on the left side only, including the buttocks. Back of the hips on the right side only, including the buttocks. Now the tailbone. The anus. The perineum. And the sexual organs. Take your time. I'm not going to describe it, but go through each part of the sexual organs on your own. Now come to the waist. Do the front of the waist, just across the lower part of the belly. The left side of the waist. The spine, as it is connected to the waist there. The right side of the waist. And same thing in the diaphragm belt, front of the diaphragm belt. Left side. Spine. Right side. And the belt of the upper chest, the front side. So everything between the collarbones and about the solar plexus, that whole region. The left side of the chest. The upper spine. The right side of the chest. Top of the left shoulder. Front. Back. The side of the left shoulder. The underside of the left shoulder. Bicep. Elbow. Forearm. Wrist. The bottom of the palm. The back of the hand. The thumb. Pointer. middle, ring, pinky, now move to the top of the right shoulder, the front, the side, the back, bicep, elbow, forearm, wrist, bottom of the palm, top of the palm, thumb, pointer, middle, ring, and pinky. The lower third of the neck, the middle third, the upper third of the neck, the joint connecting the neck to the skull, left ear on the outside, inside, left ear, right ear on the outside, inside, forehead, left eyebrow, left eye, right eyebrow, right eye, left side of the nose, inside, right side of the nose, inside, outside of the left cheek, outside of the right cheek, chin, lips, upper lip, lower lip, inside of the left cheek, inside of the right cheek, roof of the mouth. Now get your mind into each tooth. The tongue, below the tongue, inside of the throat. And now we'll finish with the scalp, left side of the scalp, back of the scalp, right side of the scalp, top of the head, and that is it for this session. Okay, since we're 5 minutes over, I'll wrap it up quickly. I believe we're back at 11. Again, try to be on time. 11, I believe, is the last session before lunch. Just to give you a quick just to give you a quick preview, we're going to do one more intensive session like this before lunch. We might just do one long session. Then after lunch, I'm going to do one teaching session, maybe two, depending on how much time we need, where I'm going to talk again more about the fundamentals of training and meditation. And then we'll finish out the day with more practice. Okay? See you in about 30 minutes.